Hi, this is Matt at AppWorks, and today we're going to do a best practice video about field validation. So FileMaker has had the ability for many, many years in the schema where you define your fields. There's a tab, the second tab in, for validation. And if we take a look at a couple of examples here, I can, for example, require that a company be a unique value, so I can't have two records in the database with the same company name, which seems reasonable, right? Why would you have two records for the same company? A second example would be a credit limit where you have a number, it has to be in a certain range. So right now, you don't have any customer with a credit limit beyond $50,000. Okay, so this is why I think these are a bad idea. So, and it basically comes down to the experience for the user. So a lot of your databases, the users don't have a ton of training. They just kind of use the database and they expect it's going to work like other systems out in the world that they encounter. So if I went in and I tried to look at a company record and type something to correct it, and I said, "Oh, AppWorks," and then I hit tab out of it. It says company is defined to contain a unique value. Allow this. And what do I do? So I can actually say yes or no. If I say no, it's going to try to do something. I can't even actually say no. So that's really frustrating. I just can't get out of it, right? So the user very frequently doesn't even know what that means. And you can also not even allow them to override it. So sometimes what you'll find is that users will force quit FileMaker to get out of that particular dialog box because there's so little control of what you can do. So these features, I know it's probably not 100% of users or developers would agree with me, but at AppWorks and in my long experience with FileMaker, I believe that all of the things on this tab are not really a best practice from the perspective of user interface and how you can do it. Okay, that said, how can we do this? How can we make this work better for users? So here's a couple of examples. If you have a field that you really want, like the office phone number, and you look at a record where it's empty, you can use conditional formatting to color the field as yellow. So every time the user comes back to this record, they say, hey, there's this thing we really want. You don't have it in there. It's out of range. So you could have like a little message pop up or something like that that tells you that you really need a value in there. Okay, another thing that you could do is, which I believe I put on the website field, is you could have a script that runs with a script trigger. So on this one, you can see that little star. If I click on this field, I can see there's a script trigger called test value. And here's what that will do. If I type in a website address like app.works, it will test my value to see if it works. And it says, hey, this needs to start with www. Do you want to fix it or cancel? If I click fix, it actually corrects my value for me, assisting me and teaching me the correct way to use the database. That's my favorite way to do it, because you get all of your control in FileMaker's most powerful area, which is the script engine. And so here's what that script would do: is first checks to see if it's empty. If you're deleting a website because it's wrong, you certainly don't want to tell the user it has to start with www. And then if you have a value that the user does not put in www, it shows a custom dialog box and allows you to fix the particular value. So the only thing about using script triggers is you have to make sure that all of the layouts that a user can interact with this particular field and change its data, that you call that same script trigger. I would probably say that most fields you should probably only have to be allowed to be edited in one place or a handful of places. But that's definitely something you have to think about if you're going to use the script trigger method. So that's it. Thanks very much for your time.